Welcome to Lesson 2 in Unit 12, Exploring Earth. In this lesson, students will work to answer the question, what did early explorers' homelands look like? In this lesson, students will continue to research early explorer groups and where they lived. They will gather more information about their native regions and develop salt dome maps to show variations in landforms in different locations around the globe. Students will figure out that the shapes and kinds of land around the world make patterns called landforms, and that landforms can vary by location. We can develop models of these areas. Students make connections to the storyline by continuing to research the early explorer groups. There are several opportunities for ELA and social studies cross-curricular connections throughout the lesson. You can look for specific standard connections in the Unit 12 Teacher Guide. This lesson will take approximately 4 to 6 days to complete. To begin the Engage portion of the lesson, you'll display the world map with the 3 explorer locations pinpointed. You'll remind students of the 3 early explorer groups by pointing to their locations on the map: Inuit in the Arctic, Polynesian in the Pacific Islands, and Norse in the Nordic region. You'll then display the regional landscapes images for students to make observations and compare the land formations of each early explorer group. After each image, you'll have students pair share to make observations about the different land features from each image. You'll ask students what they notice about the images and what shapes or types of land they see. This is a good opportunity to post the landforms vocabulary card. For the Explore portion, you'll pass out the landform matching card sort and have students work in groups of 3 or 4 to make observations and match the different landforms with the corresponding shapes. You'll have students use the Landforms Data Table student journal page to record their matches. Students will complete column 4 in the Explain portion. In the Explain portion of the lesson, students will engage in a class discussion. You'll invite students to gather and analyze their observations around the landform cards. You'll use the provided questions to guide the discussion around what did their homelands look like. The goal of this discussion is to identify patterns in the landforms and bodies of water they have identified in the cards. You'll use the discussion to create the Lesson 2 summary chart. From the discussion, students should understand that each of the early explorer groups lived in a different region, and each region had similar patterns of landforms. You'll then use the Read Aloud Guide to read Looking at Landforms. The Read Aloud Guide will help facilitate a discussion while reading. After students read, you'll have them complete the 4th column on the Landforms Data Table student journal page. You can post and discuss the canyon, mountain, plain, plateau, valley, and hill vocabulary cards. You'll again show the regional images of the explorers and have students use their Landforms Data Table student journal page to help them identify the different landforms in these images. For the Elaborate portion, you'll set up the Salt Dome Models activity. There are detailed instructions and a teacher tutorial for this activity found and linked in the teacher guide. Students will work in groups to make a 3D model of landforms and bodies of water around one of the early explorer regions. You'll have students use the Landform Model student journal page to select the region they want to model and make a map. For the Evaluate portion, you'll have students complete a gallery walk to see each group's Salt Dome model region. To support student sense-making across the unit, orient students back to the driving question board. Ask, what did we learn about what the explorers' homelands looked like? And what new questions do we have? By the end of this lesson, students will have gathered information about the landforms in the native regions of an early explorer group, and developed a model to show different landforms in an area. In Lesson 3, students will investigate the instruments early explorers used. They will figure out how these instruments made sound. For the optional Extend, students can work in groups to research and compare different landforms in their region using maps. They can create a 3D model of these landforms. For more information about this unit, visit myscipartners.com.